Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanisms, and really just some mechanisms in general, from the Magic the Gathering set, The Brothers War. This set actually came out a few months ago, but I just hosted my draft for it this past weekend, and so I'm catching up a little bit. I think Magic has come out with several sets since then. So I'm going to share some mechanisms with you from this set, and one of them is not really a mechanism, but one thing that Magic I think has increasingly leaned into, and I really like that they're doing this, which is that they lean into nostalgia. So this is a card from the pack. This is a Mox Amber with an old school artifact frame. And you can see that in comparison to, here's another one. Here's another old school artifact frame compared to the new frame here. So they have this new gray frame. And I like the new gray frame. I like that Magic has updated their graphic design over the years. But when you pair that with the old school frame, it feels like you found a treasure in the pack. It feels like you found something old, especially when it's a Mox like this. So I really like that. I love how Magic has established nostalgia as a key element of what makes it fun to open a pack of cards. I think that's really cool. That's not really mechanical, though. Let's talk about mechanisms. One is Unearth. This set features Unearth as a key mechanism. Perhaps that's also a nod to digging up things from the past, as the set delves into thematically. And with Unearth, if this creature ends up in the graveyard at some point, you can cast it or you can pay the Unearth cost to bring it back into play just for one turn. It has haste, and it's back into play. I think that's it. It might get a +1/+1 counter. Let's see if there's any other cards that talk about it more in detail. But I think it's just you bring it back into play. And so it spends one more turn in play. And this is a fun ability. I mean, it removes loss aversion a little bit because you might need to give up this creature at some point. If you have it in play, it's a big creature. You don't want it to die, but the ability to bring it back into play one more time can feel really, really good. It can also be discouraging to your opponents. I believe I actually played against this card in our draft, and I didn't really want to spend all my resources destroying it because I knew it was just going to come back for another turn. But fortunately only temporarily. So I like that mechanism a lot. It's a neat mechanism. Also, this is probably my favorite mechanism in the set, the idea of prototypes. So this is a prototype card. I don't know if I can get it to focus here, but if I can, you can see that you can pay this card for two different costs. You can pay it for 7 mana up here, and if you do, it comes into play as a 4/3 creature with this ability right here. Or, thematically, like you haven't quite figure out how to create this artifact yet. Instead, you can pay this cost. This cost is lower. It involves colored mana instead of colorless mana, and it's only a 2/1 creature, but, and this is a little bit unclear from the frame, but it is true, it has this ability too. Even though it's a prototype, it still has this ability. It's just smaller and requires more specific mana. I like this for multiple reasons. Really, the main reason is that in Magic, I love when there are options on cards to play them for a lower cost, or do something with them for a lower cost, even if they are a higher cost card. It makes me more likely to include it in my deck, especially in a draft. And it makes me feel better while drafting if I'm not getting the mana that I want, or if I'm getting a lot of mana. If I have too much mana, then I know that I can hold on to this card and wait to pay it for the full cost. So I love these things in Magic that kind of help you with that mana curve. It gives you a little bit more of diverse options as to when exactly you play this card. But also, just thematically, I love the idea of having a prototype and playing this card as only part of its full potential, but still getting it into play and using it early in the game versus holding on to it until later, until you can fully understand how you can build this construct or build this artifact wizard and put the whole card into play. That I think is just a cool thematic element that I'd love to see in other games as well, where if you're working on a prototype, or working on building something, and maybe it's not quite ready, but it gives you the option of going ahead and using it, and at a smaller cost and a lower ability. Yeah, so those, I believe, are the main new mechanisms in this set. I got a bunch of rares here. I don't know if there's anything in particular that I wanted to showcase here. There's another prototype, some dual lands. Yeah, I couldn't find any other specific abilities, at least among the rare cards. Here's one with the old school frame, new school frame, in terms of new abilities in this set. A lot of equipment. I feel like I saw a lot of equipment, which makes sense thematically, I think, for this set. But yeah, it was a really fun draft to play, and those are some of the new mechanisms in the set that I definitely enjoyed. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this set, the Brothers War. Also, it happens that we waited so long to do this draft that a whole nother set tied to this set has come out. It's Phyrexian something. But if you've played that one, feel free to let me know your favorite mechanisms in that set in the comments below as well. Because I don't think I'll play that one. I think I'll hold out and wait for the next, or not the next, but the Lord of the Rings inspired set that'll come out later this year before we do another draft. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments below. Thanks.